Hey guys, let's get more news from Miami Heat, but first, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. Erik Spoelstra has no problem with Miami Heat facing adversity. The Miami Heat made a statement in Tuesday's 121-95 victory against the Orlando Magic. However, recent weeks have not been enjoyable for the team or coaching staff. The Heat have lost 8 of 11 but are showing signs of promise, with 3 wins in their last 4 games. I always felt this way, there's nothing wrong with a little adversity in this league, Heat coach Erik Spoelstra said after Tuesday's victory. Success can be the worst teacher and it can be the worst formula. Sometimes if you just have an endless amount of success in the regular season, you're just not dealing with the truth. The Heat are no strangers to pushing through problems, especially with injuries. Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, and Tyler Herro have missed a significant number of games this season. We've had to deal with the truth. We've had to deal with some very hard realities of why we haven't been able to win the way we want to, Spoelstra concluded. The roster has gone through changes since their historic NBA Finals last year. The 8-seed to championship runner-up storyline should prove to fans that the Heat are not pretenders. The Heat are facing off against number 1 pick Victor Wembanyama and the San Antonio Spurs on Wednesday night. The Spurs are not in a position to compete for a championship, meaning the Heat should put a dominant victory stamp on this game. Anthony Pasiala works as a contributing writer to Inside the Heat. Heat's Caleb Martin named top last-minute trade target for NBA contender. Current Miami Heat small forward Caleb Martin has been named a top trade target for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Bleacher Report's Dan Favale put together last-minute trade target lists for every NBA team, and he named Martin the best potential trade target for OKC. The trade deadline is February 8 at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, and it would be a surprise if Miami moved anyone at this point. Still, if the Thunder offered the Heat solid compensation in return for Martin, a deal is possible. The Oklahoma City Thunder are fighting for first place in the Western Conference and have the assets to trade for just about anyone they damn please, Favale wrote, before making his case for why OKC may covet a player with Martin's skill set. Martin is the consummate gap filler, and my favorite target on the board, Favale wrote. He can eat up minutes at the 2, 3, or 4 on both ends and doesn't require the ball yet has the skill set to tee up others. The Miami Heat would typically treat him as close to untouchable. But he's a free agent this summer, player option, and the Heatless are close enough to skirting the tax that the Thunder can juice up their pursuit by rallying third and fourth party facilitators to get Miami all the way there. The short answer is that Miami could lose Martin for nothing if it doesn't trade him before the deadline this year. Martin is due just over $6.8 million this season, and he has a player option at the end of the year. The expectation is he'll decline it and see what other teams are willing to pay him. If that happens, he'll be out the door and Miami will have failed to get any assets in return for him. The emergence of rookie Jamie Jaquez Jr. along with Haywood Highsmith have also given the Heat options at forward this season, thus making Martin a tad more expendable. It would be understandable if Miami moved on via trade, as the Heat could recoup some draft capital after the recent Terry Rozier trade. Martin is a solid two-way player, and he should have interest, as he'll be an asset for any team looking to make a postseason run, which is why Oklahoma City is such an intriguing fit. The Thunder are currently in second place in the Western Conference with a 35-16 record. Led by young stars Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Chet Holmgren, OKC is one of the more exciting and promising teams in the West. It wouldn't be surprising if they made a push to add Martin, particularly after his performance in the playoffs in 2023. In 34 games this season, 12 starts, Martin is averaging a career-high 10.2 points, 4.6 rebounds, and 2.2 assists, also a career best. It'll be interesting to see if the Heat decide to keep him for one more playoff run. Bill Simmons wants Miami Heat to trade Tyler Herro and first-rounder for Demar Derozan and Alex Caruso. The NBA trade deadline is near, leaving teams like the Miami Heat with a limited amount of time to make some noise before the clock runs out. Last month, the Heat made a splash by trading for veteran guard Terry Rozier, but sports analyst Bill Simmons is intrigued by the idea of Miami making another deal, one with the Chicago Bulls. Simmons wants to see the Heat acquire Demar Derozan and Alex Caruso in exchange for a package featuring Tyler Herro and an unprotected first-round pick. It would be a risky move for the Heat, as they'd be trading away a 24-year-old with plenty of club control for two veterans with significantly less club control. Herro is signed through the 2026-27 season. Meanwhile, Derozan is set to become a free agent this coming offseason, and Caruso is scheduled to become a free agent in the 2025 offseason. However, teams sometimes need to take big swings in order to get over the hump, and it may be time for the Heat to do just that. This season, Derozan is averaging 22.3 points, 4.1 rebounds, and 5.3 assists per game while shooting 46.4% from the field and 32.8% from deep. Caruso, for his part, is having one of the best three-point shooting seasons of his career, as he's knocking down 40.4% of his triples. He's also playing exceptional defense, making him a very valuable 3-and-D piece. The Heat are currently in 7th place in the Eastern Conference with a 27-24 record, meaning they'd land in the play-in tournament if the regular season ended today. Miami showed last season that play-in teams are entirely capable of doing damage in the playoffs, but the squad would likely prefer to earn a higher seed by the end of the regular season. Herro, who has spent his entire career with the Heat, is no stranger to trade rumors. But to his credit, he has always done a nice job of staying focused throughout the buzz, and fans can expect more of the same from him as the deadline for the 2023-24 season inches closer. And you fan, what do you think of the Demar Derozan situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.